Aloha, brothers and sisters, man. Mahalo for tuning in. Long time no see. It's been a very, very long time. I think it's been close to 5 weeks, which is the longest I've gone without posting. I think previously, 1 month was probably the record for me not posting nothing, but I think we're getting close to 5 weeks. So this is definitely the longest hiatus I've ever taken for the channel. Hope everyone's doing really well. If anyone's still watching, I appreciate you guys still tuning in, right? It's a small channel, it's just for ESO. Been playing a lot of the new Modern Warfare 2 that came out, so I've really been enjoying that, not playing a lot of ESO, if I had to be honest with you. So today I got a Stamina Dragon Knight build for you. Oh man, I love this build so much. Just so good solo. You remember, I don't really play DPS often. I don't even have a video in this, or I don't even have a clip in this video that shows me parsing because I just suck at it. I don't know how people hit over 100K. I don't have the attention span and consistency in my button mashing to be able to ever hit those numbers. But let me tell you something right now, man. This build is so good for just hack and slash type of gameplay, just button mashing until your controller breaks. It's so fun, especially when there's large mobs of enemies. But it's not a bad solo character. It's not a bad solo character as well. As you can see here, I'm taking out a boss in this veteran dungeon. Is this Vadishine Hollows? I forgot. I'm taking out this guy on my own. I've never done this on veteran before. Sustain wise, it's really good. You don't really run out of resources ever, especially if you're using that stupid whip move, right? So hope you guys enjoy the video. Thank you for tuning in as always. I'm gonna keep it not too long this time. I changed the format of the way I made videos right now. It's gonna be a little different from before, so I hope you enjoy. Check it out. Quick look at the stats if you care at all. Nothing jumps out at you like it's very impressive, but trust me, it's really fun. Just give it a chance here. So yeah, everything in stamina. Critical's not so bad, and yeah, decent recoveries, okay recoveries. Okay, so in terms of a race, I would suggest using Orc. In my opinion, when it comes to stamina melee types of builds, Orc is probably the best choice, followed by Dark Elf because of the weapon damage and a little bit of health, and I think stamina. No, sorry, not stamina, but the recovery and everything. So that's why I think Orc is the best, but Dark Elf works just as well. Now, when it comes to food, dubious Cameron Throne is a great choice. It's cheap, it's budget, right? But obviously, there are other options that require the gold materials, which I don't recommend if you're just playing a little bit and you're not going for speed or record. So yeah, and I put basically everything in stamina on my character just to clear all that up. Now, when it comes to gear, I have the Titanic Cleave. And the Titanic Cleave is amazing, right? You can get it from the Dragon Star Arena, and it basically just everything in front of you. If there's more than one enemy, say that there's two, it adds weapon damage, right? It's really overpowered, and it's great when you're playing a lot, areas with a lot of enemies. So this build is really catered to just large groups of enemies and not a single target, high damage, parse type of gameplay. Now for my monster set, I use Dominhaus. That is from one of the dungeons in the Horns of the Reach. It's great. It gives you a huge circular Armageddon AoE dot, along with increasing your weapon damage if you stand within that circle. So I think that's really, really great. Now, when it comes to the body armor, I use Order's Wrath. Order's Wrath is relatively new from the latest DLC that just came out, this year. It's very cheap too, and you know what? It only requires 3 traits for you to be able to make. So that's definitely something I would recommend using if you don't have a lot of options. Obviously, New Moon's Acolyte works just as well. It's actually the set I used before Order's Wrath came out, but I just really liked Order's Wrath a lot more because I managed to get my critical into the 50 percentile, so that's why I use that. And rings, I use just, Amulet and Ring of Agility just from before. I just wanted a 2-piece set that gives me a little bit more stamina, just to add a little bit of a sustain. But the main ring you absolutely have to have, and you need to actually get the DLC for, is the Ring of Order's Wrath. And that one is just really, until they start nerfing that, I'm pretty sure that's going to stay as the meta, especially for this build, since it's a 1-bar type of build. But when they do nerf it, don't worry. I will have something. I will basically have a backup for you guys to see. So yeah, that's basically the gear. Quick little showcase of my gear over here. So you got the Master's Ball. That's the Titanic Cleave set. It's pure AoE, right? You're just wiping enemies out in large groups. Now, Dominhaus set from the Horns of the Reach DLC. Like, that's a great. Look at that. Stand in it, and you get some weapon and spell damage. Jack of the Order's Wrath, right? Look at all that critical weapon damage, and increases your critical and critical healing. Critical damage and critical healing, right? That's just the shoulders for the Dominhaus to complete the set. Obviously. Get the Belt of the Order's Wrath here. As you can see, I have them as divines in terms of the trait, just because I want to maximize the efficacy of my Mundus Stone, which is weapon damage, I believe. Yeah, weapon damage, right? Or penetration. I don't know. Either one works. Guards of the Order's Wrath. Very easy set to make. You could make it yourself if you want to. Right? You don't need a high-level master crafter to make it for you. Look at that. Right? You can't beat it. Now I just have Necklace of Agility here for the stamina. I had these on before. And then the Oakensoul Ring is really what makes this build really viable. But, I mean, the sustain on its own, like, you don't really run out of resources, so yeah. And if it matters to you, recommended CP Slottables, right? It is a solo build, so they actually do make a difference. I catered a lot of my champion points, or the Slottables, for AoE damage and just weapon damage in general for warfare. And for fitness, really just adding a little bit of extra health and health recovery and stamina recovery after killing enemies. So yeah, take a look real quick here and, tweak it to your own liking. Alrighty, so let's talk about the moves real quick for this Dragon Knight. Now, the first move from at the bottom from left to right, the first move is Brawler. Now, that's from the two-handed skill line, right? Under like weapon skills. You want it to morph to Brawler from Cleave, right? And this is your main AoE spammable. You use it too much, it can get pretty expensive. But the thing is, this is the move that the Titanic Cleave buffs, right? Any enemy that you hit in front of you, like in a cone, that's going to increase your damage by like 1,400 per enemy. So you're basically wiping out mobs real fast. And you also get a damage shield, which I think is pretty nice. Now, the other move is Molten Whip. Now, Molten Whip is awesome. This thing is basically your spammable for single target. And using this, you basically don't run out of resources ever, right? You're splitting the cost between Magicka and Stamina. And, I mean, like, it's just awesome. This is for every DK, this is the main spammable you want to use. So you can split your resources very nice. If you find out you're running really low, this is a move that you could go to for a single target, especially. Or when the herd starts thinning out. Now, Noxious Breath is the next skill. Now, this is your AoE, also in a cone shape like Cleave. However, this is a debuff, right? You're afflicting enemies with Major Breach right in front of you, decreasing their spell and physical resistance by close to 6,000. Becomes a stamina ability and deals poison damage over time as well. So this is a very important move to use right before you even get into battle. It's usually one of two moves I use before doing anything. Now the next move you see here is Stampede, which is also from the two-handed weapon skill line, right? Now this is basically a move that just launches yourself across the screen onto enemies. You're basically attacking, like, on its own, it's a single target move, but when you morph it to this one, Stampede, it's basically dealing damage in an area around the target and leaves a little bit of residual damage at the impact area as well. The final regular move is Burning Embers, right? And that's just another single target AoE move that I like to have slotted just to help heal when I need, right? Over 20 seconds, like, you start getting a little bit of health, and I think it's quite nice. This one coupled with Cleave together is actually very nice because you get a lot of health back while your shield, say that your health is low, but your shield is up. Like, you're healing over time, and that shield is protecting you as well, adding another extra layer of protection. So that's why I really like this move. And finally, your Ferocious Leap is your main ultimate. Now, this is something that's quite cheap. It doesn't cost a lot in terms of ultimate. And, like, it does a lot of freaking damage, man. And you get a damage shield if you're going into enemies. So, you know, use this quite often, especially when you see mobs, because I definitely recommend using this quite frequently. You don't want to be saving up all your ultimate and not using it, especially in dangerous situations where you're about to die. This is something I would use as well. So that concludes my Stamina Dragon Knight 1-bar hack and slash build. I hope you found this helpful in some way. I don't know, maybe you can get some ideas with the gear or even the skills and everything, and, you know, tweak it to your own liking. You know, that's what I love about ESO. There's so much customization available. Like, sure, yeah, there are meta builds and stuff, but, you know, I don't play this game to be the best or anything. You know, I just play this game for fun and, you know, figuring out nice new gear combinations and skill combinations, you know, to make this fun, right? Because it's a freaking game. It's awesome. So as always, mahalo so much too for tuning in. Thank you for sticking by with me after all this time. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Really do appreciate it. Mahalo so much for tuning in again, right? Take it easy, guys. Please stay safe.